3, 2. Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to the first ever. Oh shit! The first ever All Elite Wrestling review. I just came back from All Elite Wrestling, AEW, Double or Nothing, and wow, that was I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, you have a bit of a bias because you were there, and this is true. I do have a bit of a bias because I was there, but that had to be like the greatest show ever witnessed. I'll just say that much. I'm not going to say it was the greatest show like ever, but it was the greatest show I've ever been to, so I will say that much. But before I get into the rest of the show, I have some guests with me. I'm here with Franklin.
Hello.
Dane.
What the hell is going on?
And Alex.
Tacos for your family?
Yes. Okay, now I was in the arena, so I saw everything that happened live and in person, and they watched it from at home. So us combined, we're going to tell you guys how it was from the in-arena experience and at home. So you guys will let me know how it was at home while I tell you guys how it was in the arena. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. Did you get lost? No, I did not get lost. I got going to Caesar's Palace. I got lost, but no, I didn't get lost going there. But I had to like run back here from MGM, and it was like a 40-minute walk, which I turned into a 30-minute walk. So yeah, that was fun.
You did an Uber?
No, I fucking walked. I'm broke, man. Spent too much fucking money this weekend. I'm broke, man. I got no money to spend. Anyway, let's start from the very top. The pre-show. The buy-in. All right,
The good shit.
Yes, really good shit in the buy-in, guys.
I really like that battle royal.
That concept was smart as hell.
It
I would
was.
say I agree with the ending. I don't think like someone in the elite getting the first shot is good. Like at least from if I'm looking from the outside, it kind of looks like they're putting themselves over. But I did like the battle royal. I will say, like from a character perspective, action, choreography, everything, it was one of the most fun battle royals I've watched. I'd probably put it in my top 5.
Yeah, MJF should have went over.
Okay, so what would you guys say was like some standouts? Like I'm sure there were some guys in there that you guys never seen wrestle before. So like, who were some standout guys? What were your favorite spots? Like, what would you say was the standout spots here?
One of them is not a bias towards you because he's your buddy, but Marco's stunt for someone his height, getting thrown and swung around, were pretty entertaining spots.
His suicide dive, his little dance, Marco's stunt was really good. Sean Spears, who like you guys all know, I'm a fan of. Yeah. Like I've met him personally and stuff.
Yeah, like who was it? Jimmy Havoc and Tommy Dreamer's spots.
Jimmy Havoc and Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Glacier. Yeah, I knew Dane was gonna be there. Glacier's spot when he spit in Sonny Ono's face is pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like what is it too? Like one of them was also funny was Sonny kissed the spot by putting his cheeks onto Tommy Dreamer.
That was hilarious.
That dude with the one leg that got
Dustin Thomas. I was so happy for him when he got into this match. And he did the 619 and the 450. He did all that at Spring Break. Seeing him do it here was pretty awesome too.
Yeah, so like
but I gotta say, if there's one guy in the whole battle royal who, from like his entrance to everything he did, was consistently fun to watch, I gotta go with the Luchasaurus.
Yes, Luchasaurus is the best. Now, I wouldn't say he was the best. I think like the guy who stood out, not even stand out, but the guy who I think won me over the most, and he already won me over because I've seen him wrestle for like 2 years, would be MJF. Like that guy is just such a great heel.
Exactly.
MJF had periods where he was doing nothing because he was playing the heel. He was on the ground.
And I think that was smart.
He was selling a sneaky attitude. I'd say all around he had the most standout performance, but if we're talking in terms of consistency,
oh yeah, definitely.
Luchasaurus.
But not everybody can be like
consistent.
The wrestler, and he can't do that all the time. His character is what makes him stand out in a group of wrestlers.
If we're talking about stand out from a character aspect, it's definitely MJF. But if we're talking like consistency during their period, I gotta go with the Luchasaurus.
Exactly.
Luchasaurus has always been really good.
Lots of great spots, good character, just all around great.
Yeah, Luchasaurus was a good one. Like you said, MJF. Like I said, hey, like he was the better all around character. Like you know what, all of us in the call, we were watching it at home, we were rooting for MJF. We were like pleading that he would be.
I was like one of the very few people in the building that's actually cheering from the whole time. I actually bought a shirt of his yesterday, so I'm gonna wear that proudly to the to the after party. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the match, it came down to MJF and Hangman Page. Hangman Page was the lucky Joker number, and he won the match. I don't necessarily think I would have gone with Hangman Page winning the match. If you ask me, I thought MJF should have won. But I'll take Hangman Page. I like Hangman Page, and I'm ready to see him versus whoever won Jericho and Omega. I'm sure everyone knows, but we're just not going to spoil it just yet. But
I still think it rubs people the wrong way just because, well, obviously he's a member of the Elite, and two, because he wasn't even supposed to be in the match originally. He was supposed to fight Pac originally.
Well, the other thing is that if Hangman Page versus Pac happened, Hangman Page would have won. So that I can't really knock them too much for because he was always going to win. But I think it stung a little bit more because there was other talent in this match that could have won, and it was him. So I think in that aspect it stings a little bit, but I can't be too mad at the result.
It doesn't knock the match, though. The match is
no, not at all.
Very fun. It's one of my favorite matches of the night.
I recommend it. I don't recommend a lot of matches, but I would recommend it.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite battle royals I've ever seen. But then we get into the next match, guys, on the pre-show. It was Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was in line when we got there. The line wrapped damn near halfway, like I would say, a quarter of the way across MGM Grand, and that is a fucking huge place. We went like at least I think it was 0.2 miles into this place. 0.2 miles. We were standing outside. Some people were standing outside. Mind you, I had to take a shit. Okay, so I was standing in line, trying to cleanse my butt cheeks together because I didn't want to shit myself. I also didn't want to get out of line. So by the time I got to my seat, the pre-show started, and I didn't want to miss it. I didn't want to miss the battle royal, so I'm just sitting in my seat, just trying to enjoy the show. As soon as the match is over, I run to the bathroom. So I missed, I think, a good majority of this match. So you guys will take it from here. So what were your opinions on the match? What were some of your best parts? Did any guys stood out to you? If so, was it both? Was it one of them? What was your takeaway from this match?
I really didn't like this match.
Dane doesn't like anything, remember?
I mean, Dane's very hard to impress. But...
And I felt like the atmosphere of the call even went down as this match came on because I feel like there was a lot of hype behind how good that battle royal was.
Before the battle royal.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I think they wanted to start off hot, so that's why they did the battle royal first. So I can't really blame them that much.
One of the spots that I enjoyed was Sammy Guevara's suplex over the top rope. He falls on the apron, rolls, and lands the suplex again.
And then that shooting star spot pretty much right after.
Yeah,
I thought Sammy Guevara was without a doubt the standout here in this match. I thought he should have won. He was way more over with the crowd. He was garnering more of a crowd reaction. His mannerisms were better. He had more of a character. His in-ring work was more polished. He had a lot of the flashier spots, so he was set up to shine better in the match. I really don't see why they put Kip Sabian over.
That's not to say there weren't good spots, but the match itself as a whole piece was not. It just wasn't there. There was good spots and little things that, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool. But putting the whole package together is an important part of a match, and it's just not all there.
Yeah, it takes two to tango. Exactly. I felt Kip Sabian had some spots, but there was no character behind him. There was no character behind him at all. I saw no character there. Whereas Sammy Guevara was all rounded together, Kip Sabian was missing the character aspect. The in-ring aspect, he did fine. He did what he could work in 10 minutes. But there was no character built with him. That's why I thought it was a match that should have opened up the buy-in, and then Adam, and then the battle royal should have been on last.
It could have even been a cool down match at some point on the card, even I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it suffered from bad placement on the card, and it suffered from the wrong guy going over.
Yes.
Sammy was. You could clearly see he was not only the more familiar name, but way more over with the crowd.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I honestly think Sammy should have won this match, but nonetheless, Kip Sabian came out the winner. So hopefully we see some more of these two. I mean, I think we're going to see more of Sammy, obviously, but Kip Sabian, I'm not too sure of. But then we get into the main show. So we start off with SCU. I'm about to go to their party in a while, so I'm excited for that. We have SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, and Scorpio Sky versus the Strong Hearts, Seema, Lindemann, and T-Hawk. This was a good match. I thought it was a really good match to start off the show. It really showcased OWE, what they're capable of. I was up in the cheap seats, but I will say this. MGM Grand has a really good arena layout. Like, even though I was up in the cheap seats, I didn't feel like I was up, like, way up too high. Like, I feel like I could see everything perfectly.
People, so when you're in a 12,000 person arena, if it's something like the Amway Center or MGM Grand, these closed-in arenas generally do a lot better in keeping the nosebleeds, like, still very accessible.
Oh, yeah, it was very, very accessible. So I do... Now, I think at some points I got very confused with which one was Seaman, which one was T-Hawk. But nonetheless, they were doing some good shit in here, and it was just something that you really would want to start off the first, major show. But how was the perception on TV? Because this was the first match. I want to know, what was the production value like for this match? Like, was there any nooks or anything? Like, what was it like going for this match for you guys?
Oh, no, it was good.
We had a lot of fun. We really all enjoyed it, at least from what we all talked about. I gotta say, the two standouts for me were two guys who I didn't think were gonna get as much shine in the match. It's two guys I'm a fan of. Like, Linda Man, I didn't think was gonna get as much shine as he did. Oh, yeah,
he did very good.
Big names. And Kazarian, holy shit, for his age, he is so ridiculously athletic.
Yeah, and for me, the two people that stood out for me was T-Hawk, and for me, that's someone that I respect mainly because I'm a bias from Southern California. Was Scorpio Sky, like, he is so smooth in the ring, like his drop kicks were crisp perfect. His tope con hilo was freaking amazing. Like I said, like Frankie Kazarian too. I'm like, how the fuck at your age can you do spots that you did right now? Like I said, everyone shined. There was moments where obviously the Strong Hearts were fucking like brutalizing SCU. I'm like, oh my god, they're killing them. And then I see them making their comebacks. Like I said, all these guys were standouts in their own, but people that drew my attention the most were T-Hawk for his like brutality and Scorpio Sky for his fluidity.
Yeah, El Lindemann was definitely the standout guy for me, just doing all those like deadlift German suplexes, which was fucking crazy. He ran wild at some points, especially T-Hawk and Sema. And yeah, Christopher Daniels definitely it was a come out party for like everybody in this match, because I don't really watch too much SCU. That was like my first Scorpio Sky match, honestly. And yeah, I love this match. Dan, I didn't hear too much from me. What did you think?
I think besides Scorpio Sky, I don't think Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels really stood out to me. And I think the other team everybody stood out to me, in the Strong Hearts at least, to me. Maybe it's a minority opinion. It's not what everybody else thinks, but I honestly think the other team stood out more.
No, I agree with you. And we're talking about as an overall whole, the Strong Hearts by far take the cake. Like I said, El Lindemann, someone of his size and stature, like Tyler said, fucking deadlift German suplex, like sweet Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I said, if we're going from an overall aspect, I do agree with you. The Strong Hearts were the
and that's not to say Christopher Daniels isn't usually good. I just didn't see anything that was like, oh wow.
Kazarian's double pinfall spot, his spots on the outside towards the end, he was just showing so much freakish athleticism that he really stood out to me. I do know that you were experiencing a little bit of lag during like some of the later spots in the match, so I think that might be it.
Yeah, I did experience lag. That is true.
I don't know if I would have gone with SCU going over. Don't get me wrong. I love SCU. If you have me pick between SCU and Strong Hearts, I'd probably go with SCU on a personal level. But Strong Hearts, not only do they have the connection with another company, but they're new here. You're trying to establish them. SEMA is going into a match with Omega. They're younger. They need it more. I probably would have put Strong Hearts over here just from a booking aspect. But I'm totally fine with SCU winning. I had no dog in this fight. I was just here to enjoy the match.
Yeah, definitely. And SCU definitely came out with the win at the end of this match. Then we get into the next match. It was originally a triple threat match between Kylie Ray, Nyla Rose, and Britt Baker. But before the match started, Brandy Rhodes came out. She came out in her in-ring gear, and everyone was pretty amped. Like, oh, she about to earn herself in the match. She about to pull a Stephanie McMahon here. Like, okay, Steph. Mm-hmm. But she says, no, I don't want this match to be great. I want this match to be awesome. Now, I don't think anyone expected her to come out, but fucking Awesome Kong fucking comes out. And the roof just fucking came off the place. That was one big shocker. Like, I just wasn't expecting that at all. I don't think a lot of people really
talked about that happening. I believe we actually talked about it with you at some point. But I know for a fact we talked about Awesome Kong signing into AEW. I didn't expect her to be in this match.
Yeah, we were like, for me, I'm gonna say this now because for those who play the game, I play TEW and use a WWE mod. I played the AEW mod and I hired Awesome Kong. I'm like, if they do this, like literally when I do this, like I'm gonna call their bluff. I see the Awesome Kong. I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like I'm like, I did this in my mod, and all of a sudden I see, they actually signing Awesome Kong. I marked out, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, stop stealing my ideas.
This was probably my least favorite match on the card. I didn't necessarily think it was bad. It was just, like, shoved in between a lot of good stuff.
Yes,
it had to be placed on the card somewhere.
Yeah,
I really did, but like...
I thought the placement worked out well.
Kylie Ray or Kaylee Ray's character. Britt Baker was fine. I think she needs a little bit more of a character to stand out. I did pick her to win, though.
So did I.
I mean, if anyone, I think needs a little bit more work, I thought was Nyla Rose. I mean, honestly, I feel like...
I wasn't impressed with in general. Like, she did nothing for me.
For me, I was like, okay, a lot of people have been giving her shit going into this match. Like, she needs to do something that's going to make her stand out. Like, she needs to do something really impressive. And I feel like as soon as Awesome Kong came out, it was fucking over for her. Like, no one gave a shit about Nyla Rose after Awesome Kong came out. Like, when they had their standoff, it was cool because, two big women going at it. But, like, after that, it's like... Everyone's cheering for Kong and, seeing what Kylie Ray can do. They want her to win. And Britt Baker's there. Then it's like, oh, yeah, Nyla Rose also in the match. It's like, no one cared. And it's just because she didn't do anything impressive after that. It was like, okay, yeah. They definitely overshadowed her here, and then she didn't do anything to help matters.
I think I would have liked this match more if it was just Kylie Ray and Britt Baker, and then, like, Awesome Kong came in later on and, like...
beat him up.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I think it easily could have been a singles match, like, and I would have been fine with it.
Like, with all due respect, and I mean this with sincerity and respect, I feel like, Nyla Rose's position in that match was for publicity. Like, let's be realistic. Like, she's the first, one of the transgender women, and I have nothing against that, but I think they did that, for a publicity stunt, and more power to them.
I mean, it's definitely a PR move.
It's a PR move, which all more power to them.
And like I said, with them being a PR move, and for the most part, it's like, okay, a lot of people see it that way. This is your chance to come out here and do something to prove that you deserve to be in this match. And I feel like she didn't, and that's what's really just makes it very underwhelming and disappointing in that aspect.
Like if
this
anybody
match could have happened without her.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The person that stood out the most in terms of character and personality was Kylie Ray. Like, everybody saw her all smiley and cheesy. Like, everybody fell in love with that. Like, me and the guys were talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so adorable. She's adorable. She's adorable. She's adorable. Like, what the fuck? Like, she had that personality that drew my attention. Where I was like, do I want Britt Baker to win? Like, Kylie Ray is catching my attention.
Yeah, like Awesome Kong did some good stuff here. She didn't really do all too much. I think a lot of it was Britt Baker and Kylie Ray, but in the end, Britt Baker won with the Patella Brainbuster, was it? I think she won with like an Adam Cole move, which I was like, Adam Cole, baby! I tried to get a chance to write it, but it didn't work.
It's her Manskis. Remember, the Elite killed Adam Cole.
True, but it was a Patella Brainbuster that ended the match. So yeah, that was good. I wouldn't say it was any better than that. I thought it was good, but I wouldn't call anything better than that. Then we get into the next match. The Best Friends, Chucky T and Beretta versus Angelico and Jack Evans. I was super amped for this match because I've always been a big fan of both Jack Evans and Angelico since I started watching Lucha Underground back in 2015 in Season 1. So going into this match, I was super amped when they got signed. And they did not disappoint. Jack Evans is one of the best high flyers in wrestling, period. He's always has been, and I think here he showed it. Now, I think he's a gigantic show-off in a sense that sometimes he oversells moves for no fucking reason, and he'll do a bunch of, like, high spots, and it's like, it's cool, but you're doing too much, like, slow down a bit, but... And Angelico evened that out to some point, and then Best Friends, they weren't doing, like, anything, like, over the top, but their tag team dynamic was just great. So I feel like everything meshed well in here, and I wouldn't call it, like, a great match, but I think it was really good. So what did you guys think? How's that perception on TV?
It was a really good match. We definitely all talked about how Best Friends had the better tag team chemistry.
Yeah, like I said, it was, they had the tag team chemistry, and then, like, Angelico and Jack Evans was just, like, flying all over the place and shit.
I'm pretty sure they've been teaming for like slightly less time too, but just their characters meshed well. I liked all of Trent's spots, particularly in his character work. I thought he really shone in this match. I really thought Angelico and Jack Evans did good as well. I thought towards the middle stretch, it got slightly too spotty, especially given like the other tag match on the card. But
I agree with that.
Like I said, that's where Jack Evans, I feel like he be doing too much sometimes, but.
But overall, I liked it. I don't know about Dane or Alex. I guess I'll give them the floor and talk about it.
Yeah, like for me, like I said, I was like Franklin. I like the match. For me, I've always been a fan of Los Guerreros del Cielo. That's their AAA tag team name in Spanish, which is the Warriors of the Sky. I've been a fan of them since that time. Jack Evans is arguably, like you said, Tyler, one of the best high flyers ever. He got too flashy, he got too cocky. I'm like tone it down, Jack. Like yeah, I know Trent. Trent used to be a junior and he used to fly, but not to the extremity of you. Angelico is no slouch either. Like I felt like sometimes they had to keep up with the pace of Jack Evans because Jack Evans was going one speed. He was going one speed and it's fast, and everybody else like you gotta tone it down. Whereas Chuck Taylor and Beretta had that better standard bear chemistry. Albeit them teaming up shorter than what Angelico and Jack Evans did, and I'm like, wow, like the fact that the best friends have been a team less than Angelico and Jack Evans and they had a better chemistry shows that that the tag division in AEW right now is arguably one of the best tag divisions in wrestling right now.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely reminds me of the NXT tag division back in 2016 when we had that DIY AOP and Revival feud going on. Oh my god, that was an amazing time for the tag division, and I feel like they're definitely capturing that now.
Yeah, what about you, Dane? What did you think?
I think the latter half of this show is what really makes me like this show. I feel like these first few matches, there's highlights and there's things I like, but nothing really sells me until later in the show. I feel like the later matches are definitely they're just the better matches.
But what about this match? What about this one?
I think, like you said, the Best Friends Club have really good chemistry. The other team, there's more to be desired there.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like if Jack Evans slowed down at times, because it's like the tag team dynamic with the Best Friends, and they were doing all these moves, and Jack Evans would come in, he would start doing these triple rotations and all these flips and shit, and I'm like, Jack, calm down. Calm down. It's off-putting sometimes when you have three guys working together and then this other guy's fucking flipping all over the place. It's like, get with the program. That's the only thing. I love the guy, but it's like, dude, you're not fitting in with the crowd right now. You're trying to show off and it's not working.
If he wanted to do that, he should have been in the fucking Young Bucks match. That's what it tells me.
Yeah, even Angelico, I feel like wasn't even doing as many spots as Jack Evans was. But nonetheless, it was the Best Friends that won this match, as they should.
Which I thought was the right choice.
And afterwards, we got the debut of the Super Smash Bros.
The Super Smash Bros. Debuted afterwards. I'm not gonna lie, I was some of the crowd who didn't know who these guys were. All I knew is that the lights went out, and there were at least 6 or 7 guys in masks in the ring. And they all beat down both the Best Friends, Jack Evans. Now, I'm unfamiliar with these guys. Franklin, I know you are. I don't know about Alex and Dane. So, Franklin, please elaborate on who these guys are. Help us out.
The Super Smash Bros. Got big in PWG. And at first they had more of a video game themed gimmick. For example, Uno had a feature where
which one's Uno?
If you hit him in a certain spot, he would freeze and he would be in pause.
Oh, I remember that. Shit, hold on. That was him?
He wouldn't move until you would unpause him. He wouldn't react until you unpaused him. They turned heel. Player Dos became Stupefied, and Player Uno eventually became Evil Uno. I believe Stupefied did have a little bit of a singles career.
Which one's which?
Stupefied would be the bald guy. Evil Uno still has the mask.
Okay.
They're very, very good character workers. They have a great, fun gimmick. They can do face or heel. I'm really excited to see them here. The Super Smash Bros. Were always someone I wanted to see battle the best tag teams in the world. They didn't have as big of a spotlight. They wrestled in some of the smaller indie companies like the Chikaras and the PWGs, which at the time wasn't as big as it is now, obviously. I always wanted to see them go up against, like guys like Red Dragon at the time and Forever Hooligans. Now with this stacked tag team division that you have in AEW with the Best Friends, the Warriors of the Sky, SCU, Strong Heart, the Bucks, the Lucha Bros, you're getting the best tag teams. It's very much 2000s Ring of Honor-esque, where the tag team division was a highlight. And I think they fit perfect because they added a level of like character work that I don't think anybody else has.
Yeah, and this was a good tag team match. I can't wait to see what these tag team divisions are going to offer because it was just fucking phenomenal work, I think, that we saw a little bit later on. I wouldn't say phenomenal, but it was definitely great work for these tag teams. Can't wait to see what goes on there. But let's get into another tag team match. We had some Joshi action here. We had the team of Hikaru Shida, I said Rio, but 2 times. But Mizunami versus Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Imai Sakura.
Let me re-say those names. Just
please
Hikaru
go
Shida,
ahead.
Riho Abe, Ryo Mizunami, Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura.
That's Emi.
All right.
Emi,
Thank
not
you.
Imai.
And thank you. Anyway, this match I would say was the weakest of the entire show. It was a bit. I feel like at points it was a bit all over the place. Now everyone got their chance to sign. I think that Yuka was definitely the the one that popped the most to me. She just had a lot of fun spots in there. Her and Hikaru Shida is a great performer, but in this match she did almost nothing, and it disappointed me so much. Like she came in towards the end to do stuff with Aja Kong, but it was a lot of Yuka and Rio. They did a lot in this match. Imai or whatever the fuck. Sakura, she did some good spots in here too. But Aja Kong and Shida, when they got into the ring, they were doing some good things. There was this one spot where Aja Kong got her a trash bin and Shida got her kendo stick, and they were trying to like hit each other, and Aja Kong actually hit her in the head, and I'm like, oh shit, that's kind of a chair shot to the head. But anyway, let's get into Franklin, Dane, Alex. How did that come across on TV? What did you guys think of this match?
I'll let the other guys take the floor first.
Alright, for this one, for me, I'm going to disagree with you. To me, it came out fun. Like I said, for me, this was the better match of the women's match. I thought this was a better match. I think they were all solid. Like you, Yuka Sakazaki is the one that, stood out for me the most. Like, she's so petite, she's so tiny, she's so cute. And the way she jumped, her genie gimmick freaking, it stood out for me the most from Aja Kong's team. And for me, Hikaru Shida, to me, she stood out at the end. Like, I know it's not about the destination, it's how you get there. And the way she got there, yeah, I know she barely did squat in the beginning of the match, but what she made up for the spot she did with Aja Kong, because what she did with Aja Kong kept me more entertained than what the other women match did. Like I said, this match, like, yeah, there were some moments where I took a little breather, like, as I'm supposed to, like, okay, let me breathe. They build up my entertainment, my interest, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like I said, this match was my first introduction to to Joshi wrestling, because this is something I'm unfamiliar with. This is a territory I'm unfamiliar with, and seeing them wrestle, I'm like, you know what? This piqued my interest. I'm actually interested to see more Joshi wrestling.
It's good stuff, like it is.
But Dane, how did you feel about it?
I don't think it's the best Joshi match I've seen, but there was a lot of stuff that I really liked about it. Like, I thought Aja Kong at a couple times was gonna kill the smaller people in this match, because it's like just the size difference is fucking crazy to how like big she is compared to how like skinny and small, and like, and that's usually like the Joshi style is like a lot of them are they're not usually that big, they're very small, and so she kind of stands out, and she always has ever since like even like all the way back in like the 80s when she was wrestling.
Also give one thing, Emi Sakura's homage to Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I already turned into a fan as soon as I saw her. Franklin felt my nut when I saw her dressed as Freddie Mercury.
Oh, that wasn't the only Queen thing tonight because SoCal Uncensored did stuff like that at when they did their promo earlier in the night.
I was saying my piece real quick. To me, the one who stood out the most was Emi Sakura. All the little callbacks to Queen, I just absolutely loved. She just had so much personality from her entrance to like her spots of dominance.
We will rock you chant. She made a "We will rock you" chant.
Oh yeah.
Rock you chant was great. Yuka Sakazaki was really fun too. I thought from like a spot perspective, she stood out to me the most. And I've always liked Hikaru Shida, and obviously Audrey Kong is a legend. To me, this was the better of the two women's matches as well. I thought the other women's match was probably like the worst match on the card. Not to say it was bad. Once again, I just thought this one was more fun. There was more personality, more characters.
I think also if you watch like older Joshi matches, compared to this one, you'll see how much the style has even progressed and just become a lot more moves have been added, because usually like back in the day it was just like tombstone, a little like jump onto their stomach from the top rope. Like there wasn't a lot of moves that they used to do in this style in like the 80s and 90s. Like it was very limited.
But yeah,
and this match shows that it's progressed so much bigger than it was back in those days, and I just like look at the comparisons if you can, like go back and watch some old stuff.
Well, now that I think about it, I wouldn't say it was the weakest match on the show, but it was rare. It was near the bottom. Now, like I said, I thought every match on this show was either good or above, so it's not a bad match in any way, shape, or form. Oh. That is not at all what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it was just not like the best match in my opinion. Oh no, it's my cup of tea. I just think it was the best match. That's all. Hikaru Shida won the match for putting away Sakura, so that was pretty cool. Then we get into the next match, which I thought was the best match of the night, and I think is contender for a match of the fucking year. Cody versus Dustin Rhodes. Holy shit. I did not expect the match that I got here. This was probably one of the best story-driven matches I've ever seen. It was a work of fucking art. 100%. This match was. From entrance to the bell ringing, to the way the crowd, and I was there, to the way the crowd reacted to everything, to the blood spots, to every little bump that went into it, to the outside spots, to Brandy trying to interfere in this match, taking down Dustin, him being down and out, to DDP coming out and taking him to the back, Dustin bleeding all over the this dude was bleeding all over the fucking place. It was a really, really deep bleed. I didn't expect him to bleed as much as he did. Now, I did say to the person next to me, I'm like, I think they're showing off a lot here, because not only did they go up, now Cody came out to like a fucking king. He came out like a motherfucking king, and he had a throne on the stage, like Triple H, and it had, of course you weren't, and it had Triple H's throne at the stage, like a Triple H-esque throne at the stage. He came up to it with the hammer and fucking went at it. I'm like, okay, that's the first one. Second time he got in the ring, blood all over the fucking place. WWE doesn't do that shit. Number 2, then fucking one part, Dustin Rhodes fucking basically almost pants Cody Rhodes, and they showed his ass on TV. And I'm like, okay, number 3, they're basically all but saying, hey guys, look at what we can do that WWE won't not allow you to do. You can't watch this WWE, but you can watch this shit here. Like, this was the match that basically said, okay, here's all that we could show you. They had pyro and everything. But then you get all into what the match had to offer. This match went at least about like 25, almost 30 minutes. Didn't feel like at the end of the day.
The promo at the end was really a satisfying conclusion as well.
But yeah, I already said a lot of my piece in it. You guys could dive into it at home, how to come across, because in the arena, I thought it was one of the best storytelling matches I've ever seen. It was fucking amazing. You guys get into it.
I'll start it off. Like I said, for me, I'm in the position where Franklin was. I'm like, now this is not me being a WWE fanboy. This is where I'm like Cody, like we know, like your show's a success. Like you really don't need to be, throw the salt and just smash the hammer. Where in my opinion, is I don't really put the blame on Triple H. Where we can see that what he's done with NXT, I'm like blame the bigger up. Like if you want to take a jab at Vince. I don't care. Like I don't know why Triple H is. That's something I don't know about. But other than that, the match between him and him and Dustin, like. I know all of us earlier before we saw this shit, we were shitting on this match. I'll be one of the first like, oh yeah, Like, oh, Cody's gonna do this. Like, oh, Cody's gonna hog up the spotlight. The moment I saw them lock in, I'm like, dude, they got me they had me on the skin of my teeth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The blading of Dustin. I'm like, you're gonna kill yourself. One of my favorite spots arguably was when Cody locked the figure 4 on Dustin. Me, Dane, and Franklin immediately thought Dusty versus Rick. Dusty versus Rick. What better way to see in the Crimson Blood than having the figure 4 leg lock? That's like synonymous to Dusty versus Rick. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like you said, this is the match of the night for me. This is arguably one of the top matches of sibling rivalries of all time. If you want to know what a brother versus brother match is, Owen versus Bret is for the older generation. This is our generation where we say, you want to see a sibling rivalry match? Go check out Cody versus Dustin.
If I could step in here, growing up, I've known and liked Cody, but his in-ring work has never really been up to par. This right here was the greatest match I've ever seen Cody in. And definitely the greatest match I've ever seen Dustin. Like, this was their best match, for both of them.
Yeah.
This definitely elevated them, in my opinion. Because I know they could do, like, what they're capable of.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Franklin? Because that pretty much added to me. Like...
my problem with the pot shot is the fact that, once again, I don't feel it's necessary. You're taking so many shots and dropping so many little hints. Not only does it seem reliant, it gets to the point of being cringy. Everything else, though, I loved about this match. The presentation. I didn't think Dustin had a snowball's chance in hell walking into this match of winning. But there were points where I thought, holy shit, Dustin might win. It was uncomfortable to watch where he bled so profusely, but in a good way. It brought out the best emotion.
It brought up that emotion that you want to see him win so badly. So when those near falls came at the end, it was just wow.
Yeah, because you're like, how is he? Yeah, you're like, how is he still alive? Look how much blood you lost.
Exactly.
Bro. How are you still moving?
The spots were good. It was very much a JCP style match with some obviously like some modern, more spotty, brawly, gimmicky elements added into it. Yeah. But it was very much a JCP style match with all of the storytelling and everything. I know I've shitted on Cody for his promo work a lot. I thought his delivery at the end, with the end promo after the match, was some of the best I've seen in wrestling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, hands down. I mean,
he choked. Me and Franklin got choked up in there when he's like,
dude, there were people in the crowd crying. Like, I looked, there were some grown ass men shedding some tears. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't crying, but I was starting to feel that feel in my stomach. Like, oh my god, he fucking hit something in me. Like, wow.
When I heard, I don't need a partner, I don't need a friend, I need a brother. Once I heard him say, I need a brother.
Listen, that fucking hit me, man. That hit me, man.
Like, oh.
And we all knew what line was coming, but it was just delivered so perfectly that.
And I think it was the shuddering voice and the fact that he sounded like he was crying.
Yeah,
I think that's what added to it.
Yeah, because I'm like, damn it. Like, I'm like, we know it's going to happen.
I wouldn't mind
I need a
seeing
brother.
Cody in acting after that.
He said, I need my older brother.
Yeah, I need my older brother. I'm like, god damn it, Cody. Like, I did it. Like, I knew it was coming. But why did you do it? Like I said, this stood out where I'm like, Cody, you proved that you can be a top tier contender in this match. No more jabbing at WWE. You are an established superstar here. This match solidified you and your brother as arguably one of the best brother versus brother matches of all time.
It's not even brother versus brother matches. I would say it's one of the best matches of all time.
No, it is one of the best, but like you see, when you have sibling rivalries, everybody always jumps to Owen versus Bret. But like our generation here now, we can say like, I don't know, Cody versus Dustin can give them a run for their money now.
Exactly.
Right
And I said, I was just so
I'll
glad
say
I was there
it's
to see it.
one of the best matches I watched, but I don't want to put it there yet because the standard for the in-ring product has evolved so much in the recent years. I kind of want to give it time to settle before.
There is a such thing as a big match high, but I think at the end of the day, it's still gonna be somewhere at the top of that list because there was just something.
It's gonna be a top 100 match for sure.
Top 100 that's a bit of a knock, don't you think?
I'll go 50. I'll go 50.
It's not a knock. I'm just saying, like, there's been so many good matches this year, and we're still only halfway through the year. I don't want to jump the gun.
Like I said, like other promotions. We have Dominion coming up. We'll probably have SummerSlam. We'll have all the other NXT matches. Like it's too soon.
I don't want to jump the gun on it yet.
Well,
it's
Dane, you're a bit quiet there. What do you think?
I agree with most of what was said so far. I disagree a little bit with Alex because I think when the opening bell started, I was kind of on like the fence. I was like, this is not going to be that good. And at first, it seemed like Dustin was a little bit slow, and I think this might have been on purpose to kind of make it seem like he didn't have it anymore.
Yeah, build up.
I feel like at first it felt like he missed a beat at the beginning, but it wasn't too long until he kind of flipped it back on, and then when the blood started coming, because I said this when I got in the call with them. I said, if there's not fucking blood on this pay-per-view, I'm gonna be so fucking disappointed. This is gonna be like the most disappointing shit. Like that's what I
want
to see fucking blood.
Way more than I expected.
And I mean, I love hardcore matches, and Mick Foley's like one of my favorite. So it's like, blood. You promised that it's gonna be an edgier product. I want you to show me that, and I think this match perfectly encapsulates that. But also, the storytelling was really good, and the match picked up as he got busted open, because I feel like that's when the match went from to oh, this is getting pretty good to oh shit, like
it just went up afterwards. Like it never really got like slow. It just kind of just kept going and rising.
Yeah, and that's what it is it's a rise, and then there was no decline, which it easily could have happened. Is like it could have been a bad finish, something could have happened, like, but it just stayed high and it ended on a high, and that's what. And the only way it would have been better is if what Alex said happened, where they use Dusty Rhodes as like, elbow as the finish. That would have been the icing on the cake, but even then it stayed high.
Sorry, I got cut, but like something that I wanted to add on to it is what Dane said. For me, this was hardcore in the sense that not like ECW chair shot there. Like this was like old GCP hardcore, where people like Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Pacu would look, and like Stan Hansen, like old school guys would look at it like they got hardcore like men, like real men. They didn't need no chair shots or anything like that. It was like spots where
it felt like a homage to that. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Which I'm like, dude.
It had aspects of new school in Cody, and it had aspects of old school in Dustin, and that was the point of this match. It was the Attitude Era versus the current generation, and you felt that. And in the end, the current generation won, as they should. It wasn't a complete burial of the Attitude Era, but hey, this is the dawn of relying on older guys to get over, and that was the point, and I think it was a great driving point.
Like the moments you brought up, like the edgy moments you brought up, the panting of Cody, the blood spill, like those are stuff you saw in the Attitude Era, where you're like, hey, homage to the Attitude Era. Holy shit, homage to Jim Crockett Promotions. Hey, our generation, like all three generations that are well known, were there. Cody's generation. Dustin represented both, his generation, which is the Attitude Era, and his father's.
It also kind of said that, like, all this stuff from the past is not dead. We've learned from it, and we can incorporate.
We're evolving. That's how it is. We're evolving. Like this. We're not relying on it heavily anymore. Is the point I got here.
Yeah, but you still can take some of what you've learned from the past and put it in and make something new from it.
Exactly.
It's also saying it's like it doesn't need to be the Attitude Era. It can have elements of the Attitude Era and still be its own thing.
But yeah, top to bottom, this was an amazing match. It definitely, in my opinion, was the match of the entire show, and definitely gonna be match of the year when it's all said and done. But we still got much of the year to go. I won't say it is match of the year, but definitely going to be in that list. After the match, we got a Bret Hart got introduced. Now, I thought, isn't it funny how Bret Hart was screwed by Vince McMahon, and 22 years later, he is now in AEW presenting the AEW Championship. I just thought that was one full-ass big fuck you to Vince, and I loved it.
That was also a jab for Monday night. Bret Hart presenting a title. I'm like, Jesus fuck. You are taking jabs after jabs.
Hey,
after jabs.
and let's think of it this way. He was on TNT. Didn't he leave for WCW after the Montreal Screwjob?
Yep.
I know. That's why I'm just like, yeah, this is a big fuck you, and I love it. Like, WWE, I don't want to say WWE's losing people, like losing everybody, but like the people that matters, they seem to like have been losing right now. Like Bret, Jim Ross. We'll get to the other guy later. But yeah, Bret Hart comes out to present the AEW Championship. He brings out Hangman Page. Now, Hangman Page is coming out to the ring, and here comes MJF. And MJF comes out, and he's laying into the crowd, man. He's talking about how there was one point where he said something about like white hicks or some shit. He said something along those lines, and I'm just like, oh man, this isn't really pander to me, but I love it. Keep going. And he was gold on the mic, man. MJF, y'all, people need to stop sleeping on this man. Yes, I know his gimmick is not the 2019, let's all come together and be happy and equality for all. That's not his gimmick. No, he's a purebred. He's white privilege at his best, but he works it to perfection, and there's something to appreciate about that. He is the future AEW champion, in my opinion. Future.
What was that line he had about horses that was really good?
You know what happens to horses with a bum leg, with a bum knee? Yeah, it was that line.
No, not just that line. He called him some sort of like horse name.
Seabiscuit.
Oh, Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit, yeah.
Oh yeah, but like you said, the horse reference were with the stump leg. You take them out back and blow their brains out. I'm like, Jesus.
That was good too, though.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, I'm tired of this kumbaya social justice bullshit. MJF is a breath of fresh air. He is a heel, a real heel, someone that you boo regardless. Where I'm like, I was talking with Franklin about that. I'm like, finally a fucking heel you can.
And that's the thing, because it's like in 2019, where a lot of people call it the snowflaker. Here's this guy that it's got a complete contrast of the whole thing. Like he's exactly what 2010 white privilege looked like. You know what I mean? Like it's just like we grew up around like with this kind of person on TV. So seeing it here is just like, yes, yes, I love it. For me, I saw MJF at a House of Hardcore show 2 years ago, and I took note of him. I didn't really appreciate the character then, but I took note of it, and I followed him. And now that he's here and he's in AEW, I feel like that's why I gravitated towards him a lot more.
AEW's done a really good job of marketing him.
Yeah, marketing him, Joey Janela, Jungle Boy. They've been marketing a lot of the younger guys as they should. So when everyone's talking about like, oh, this is a roster of people I don't know. Well, I know who MJF is after the show. I know who Joey Janela is after the show. I know who Jungle Boy is. I know who Jimmy Havoc is. Like they've done a good job of marketing these people.
Yeah, like I said, that's where I'm glad they have the Being the Elite, because other than themselves, they've been marketing MJF through the asshole. Like Cody, pick a diamond from all these young guys, because this is a guy our age. We're all 23. This is our age, dude. This is a dude our age.
It's so more relatable with us,
Yeah, it's relatable for us. This is someone that's our age that we're like, dude, this guy's our age. He's practically an upper mid-carder main event talent.
Well, everyone's known somebody like that who thinks that they're like the center of attention, and
that's why it's so like it's relatable.
It's a relatable heel. It's like, I fucking hate that. And then he has the face. He just has the.
He has that. I want to. He has that punchable face.
What I like to call it is he has the Alberto Del Rio face.
He has the punchable face. That's what it is.
The Alberto Del Rio face.
He has the. I'll take him out back and.
But you see, Alberto Del Rio was Mexican. This is white privilege, and that's something that's just so hateable in this day and age.
Like the last time I felt like someone that had debuted naturally like that was when Cody had his dashing gimmick.
Even then, I feel like MJF just has this down, whereas Cody didn't really master that until a bit later.
Down better, yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, that was it. And then when.
But nonetheless, it was. Yeah, go ahead, Alex. Continue.
When Jungle Boy and Jimmy Havoc came out, Hangman and them just jumping on fucking MJF, where you're like, when you look at him as the opposite spectrums of of high school. You have the popular kid trying to pick on the ruggedy country boy, the emo kid, and the oddball, and them beating up the spoiled brat. You're like, you know what? Satisfaction right there too. you felt the sense of satisfaction, and it was good seeing Jimmy Havoc and them going on them, which was good.
But yeah, the AEW Championship was presented, and it is a beautiful, beautiful title. What did you guys think of the title? How did you guys think it looked?
I liked that a
Really
lot.
good.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's better than the 24/7 title.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. It's an amalgamation of a lot of belts that I've liked in the past.
It's an homage to the big gold.
It's got a little bit of the big gold in there. And I even see a
TNA.
little bit of the spinner belt.
Oh, but with the brightness and the bling, it
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the spinner belt.
It took a bit of everything and put it in that belt, and I loved it. Then we get into the co-main event for the AAA Tag Team Championships. We have the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson versus the Lucha Brothers, who had a fucking banger of a theme song. Can't wait for them to drop that shit on YouTube. Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. or Zero. I don't know. It's Pentagon. This was a... when you look towards these Young Bucks matches and you see their opponents, you're like, this could either be a really, really good match or this could be a really, really good spot fest. And this was a really, really, really good spot fest. If you were looking for a match with a bunch of really cool, flashy moves and people kicking and jumping all over the fucking place, this is the match for you. If you're not into that shit, I would say skip this match. But for the length that it went and all the innovative spots I've never seen before, I thought it was really good. Now, I know the people in this call are not fans of the Young Bucks, so I'll ask they not be super biased towards it. But as a whole, what did you guys think of this match?
No, it worked well. It worked well. I'm like, if for me, I know I'm one of the few people that pick on the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson, especially. That's just me and Franklin. But like I said, this match fit because the Young Bucks maybe is super flashy and flippy dippy, but it meshes with Lucha Libre because Lucha Libre, that's all it is. It's a spot fest over there. You just see people flying and try to kill each other with over the top moves. To me, Phoenix was arguably the flashiest of them all in terms of the acrobatics. Like anything the Young Bucks try to do, Phoenix literally looked at his brother and say, "Hey, hold my beer, I got this." And then you saw him do those flips. Pentagon to me is the all-rounder there. He'll have his spots here and there, but he's the guy that he's the one that molds them together and holds them there to at least have a little bit of grounded moves. That's why Pentagon is arguably my favorite wrestler of this generation. That's why I'm glad that he's there teaming up with his brother. Matt and Nick were no slouches either. Normally, I always give the Young Bucks so much shit, but they made it work in this match where I'm like, fuck. I was talking to Franklin and I'm like, am I enjoying a Young Bucks match? I have nothing negative to say about any of them at this particular moment. I'm enjoying it and having a good time. I'm like, keep me entertained. See, keep me intrigued. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna outdo each other? Oh shit! What the fuck? I was out of breath for a while in that match.
I will agree that this is the best Young Bucks match that I've seen, but that doesn't mean that I was entertained because of the Young Bucks. I feel like a lot of it is the Lucha Bros, for me at least, because I've seen them wrestle more against each other and with each other, and I like them more. So I feel like if they weren't there, I probably wouldn't care about this match. The Young Bucks did have a couple cool spots here and there. The finish was, and the Meltzer driver and all that other dumb shit they do, just it's not for me. And I've given up on ever thinking that, hey, maybe the Young Bucks will win me over.
Franklin?
A long time ago.
All right, so I thought this was a good match. I agree with Alex that Phoenix was definitely, if there's a single star that stood out in this match, it was definitely Phoenix. I did think the match dragged on towards the end, and keeping strong for the sake of keeping someone strong didn't work here. I mean, and I see it on both sides. I think the most noticeable spots for me were the super finishers towards the end, where they pulled out one of their finishing moves, and then I'm not sure if the Lucha Bros did it, but I know the Young Bucks pulled out some sort of modified version of the Meltzer driver, and then that was a kick out too. And there was nobody else in the ring. It's not like it was interrupted. No, it was a straight up kick out. And then afterwards, another regular Meltzer driver was what finished it. I thought it just dragged on. It made no sense from a psychology standpoint. It was a good match, though. There were a lot of innovative spots that I had not seen before. Even that Meltzer driver, that modified version of the Meltzer driver, they did the second one. I like that too. I thought the wrong guys went over in this match. I think that when you're starting a company, once again, you shouldn't be putting yourself over if you're working in an executive role, even if it is to start.
And not to mention, this is your.
It was a lucha style match, and Phoenix was definitely the standout star. I would have had Phoenix get the pin here.
Yeah, the reason why I said the reason I'm like upset about it the most is because Phoenix also not only was he the tag team champion, but he's that company's world heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
And when you're telling me that the world champion can win a tag team belt, how are the people in Mexico supposed to believe like, oh, he can be the face of that company if he couldn't win a tag team match?
But yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I thought it was really good
good match.
It was a good match,
yeah.
but I agree. I would not have had the Young Bucks win. I had Lucha Brothers pegged to win this match, but when they lost, there was a feeling in the crowd for some people that was like, huh? But then when they realized Young Bucks won, they cheered. But it was a little bit confusing for some people. They didn't really expect the Young Bucks. I don't think a lot of people expected the Young Bucks to actually come out the winner here. But when they did, it was like, oh, okay,
none of us did.
That's cool.
From the polls I was seeing, no. Like, I saw barely anybody say the Young Bucks was going to win.
Like I said, it was a feeling of shock, but then, like, people cheered after they, came back to their
The reason
senses.
why I didn't want the outcome of this match is because it really affected the feeling for the next match.
I wouldn't say it affected the feeling too much, but let's get into...
From us watching at home, it really did.
At home,
For me, it didn't, because I was there. But then we get into the main event. Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Alpha versus Omega 2. So, from the get-go, Chris Jericho's entrance, when he had the Lionhearts, Chris Jericho, then the lights went out. Then we had the list, Chris Jericho, then the lights went out. Then we had the flashing, sparkling LED lights, Chris Jericho. Then the lights went out. Then we had the Alpha Chris Jericho. I fucking love the entrance. Now, I am a Jericho mark. I'm the biggest Jericho mark you'll find, so I am putting this over the top. But it was a great entrance. It was one of the grand entrances on this show. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, I'm a Jerichoholic. Till I die. Yeah, so he had a great entrance. Kenny Omega's entrance. We didn't really talk too much about this. But what did you guys think about the theme song? This is a new company, so if most of these theme songs were completely new, what did you guys think of the theme songs? What were your opinions on that?
Omega's works.
I struggled to hear a lot of them, and I really tried. We were sharing a feed.
A lot of people were talking.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people were talking, but I did struggle to hear them at times. I really tried with Omega's music. It seemed a little bit too slow paced for me from what I heard.
Yeah, it wasn't really on par with his New Japan thing, but he's been using that theme for years, so it's going to take a while to get used to any other theme.
It worked with them, like I said, because Omega's New Japan theme was fast. Yeah, it started slow, but then it went straight to fast pace. But this one currently, I like the beat, I like the rhythm, but it was so slow. It's a song that I will listen to personally, but I didn't see it.
I didn't think it fit Omega as a performer.
Yeah.
I don't think it fit with the attire. It wasn't his best entrance.
Maybe he's going in a new direction.
Which not to say it was a bad entrance. It just wasn't on par with some of the past few things we've seen.
We've seen him as the Terminator. We've seen him as Anubis. We've seen him as the one-winged angel when he faced Tanahashi this past year. Where I'm like, oh, what is he gonna do? He's in a new company. This is a pay-per-view. What is he gonna do? And I'm like, it felt like, I'm sorry, but a fart in church. I'm like, really? Like, for the past 3 years, I saw you as an angel. I saw you as Anubis. I saw you as the fucking Terminator, and then this.
Yeah, but into the match, it was a really good match. Jericho, a lot of people were a little in doubt because, Jericho's been working for New Japan for the last year, and there's been a lot of these brawler type of no DQ type matches. He's been working with, like, Omega and Naito and Evil, and in 2 weeks he's going to be facing Okada. And a lot of people were like, well, Jericho's been working a lot of these type of matches. Can he really wrestle a standard, match at a pace that Kenny Omega can go? And I don't want to say he was going at Kenny Omega's pace because he was trying to slow Kenny down as much as possible, but Jericho showed that he can still hang in a standard match. Like, it was really good, and I wouldn't say I was mind blown because I know Jericho was capable of it, but just seeing him wrestle that type of match because we haven't seen him wrestle in like fucking 2 years is just like
back-to-back lion salts.
Yeah, that's what
yeah it was kind of bots the first time, but he hit Bell from the back to back, and I was just like wow. But there were a lot of cool spots in here. You guys can say what were your favorite spots in here?
The brawling at the beginning was a great way to start off. It really got you into the match, and I liked it. There were some people that I was watching it with that didn't seem as interested, and they seemed kind of bored of it, but I liked it.
Like
I thought it was a great way to start off.
The reason why I didn't like the brawl, because I was one of them, was because I saw it where in Jericho and Omega 1, where I'm like, all right, like, I'm like, eh. And then once they got into the standard wrestling, I'm like, all right, like this is simple wrestling. Like, all right, cool. Like I'm like come on, Jericho, like you've done this before. Like this is your bread and butter.
The camera and powder stuff was cool too. Like...
Yeah, so when I saw all that bullshit come out, and then like I said, the in unison lion salts, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're 50 and you still and wearing leather pants and managed to do 2 lion salts. I'm like, you know what, Jericho, like this is why you're probably arguably the GOAT.
I don't know. I was in the minority opinion that it felt to me like this almost felt like atmosphere-wise. If the crowd had been more into it, this could have felt like a WrestleMania match to me.
Like I said, like I told them, it was a SummerSlam match. The reason why I said for us in our perspective was because the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers finish kind of killed it because people were confused and cheer like, yay.
But the pacing was so good in this match, like. I complain a lot about like the pacing nowadays and the fact that people don't stay down and they don't sell a little bit and give a lot of air room for everybody to breathe, and that everything has to be fast. And this match didn't feel like that. It felt like there was actually selling. Moves mattered, things happened, and you actually felt like, oh shit, like I need to cheer this guy to get back to his feet. Like, and that's what I like about wrestling is that atmosphere of somebody, you see them down and you want them to get back in. You're like, get back in there, dude. Like, come on, finish this match, get back up. And I like that atmosphere.
Definitely when Kenny got his nose broken in the match. And go ahead, Franklin.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome too.
Personally, for me, I didn't enjoy this as much as Jericho and Omega 1 as an overall match, but I thought as a standard match from like an in-ring perspective, it was a better match. Obviously, Jericho and Omega 1 was more of a like hardcore brawl, and I thought it fit better because I think at this age, like, and with the current character Jericho's running, it just works better for him. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the stuff Jericho did. You know, there was quite a few throwbacks for Jericho here. It was a good in-ring match. It wasn't my particular favorite of the night, but it was near the top. I did think the pacing was really good as well. I like that they didn't delve into a finisher fest. Jericho really conserved the Judas effect.
The Walls of Jericho was awesome. Like I thought he was gonna tap out for sure. Like
and then he locked in the Lion Tamer.
Yeah, Lion Tamer. Yeah, it was like a transition.
Lion Tamer and the wall spots were awesome. That's how he caught him. I'm like, all right. When I saw the
especially the spot where he, I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but when he caught Kenny Omega off top rope for the code breaker, that was a really cool spot too. Even though it was kind of scouted, and I really
liked how the One Wing Angel was protected. I don't think the finish was great, and it kind of bumps it down a bit for me. I mean, from a psychology aspect, you know, a new debuting finisher stealing the match, it's great. It's incredibly well done. I just don't think the Judas effect is that great of a finisher. It feels anticlimactic to me.
Yeah, so same thing with me, but like the fact that, you know, it did old school psychology. New finisher comes out, you hit him 1, 2, 3. I'm like, all right, the move is mad, but at least you made.
Yeah, he didn't hit. I love the fact that they really put this over on commentary exceptionally well. The fact that he didn't even try and go for it till this point. So it makes Jericho look like a mastermind heel. Like, he had the match pretty much planned up to this point where he knew, I'm going to get this move, I'm going to catch.
Well, that's the thing about the Judas effect is that it's not a move you have to set up. You can really hit it at any time.
It reminds me of, you remember when John Cena was like, I'm going to have this new move. The sixth move, yeah. That's exactly what it reminded me.
No, that's what I was thinking of too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Well, John Cena's was like a punch to the back of the head. Jericho was like this like back elbow, and I feel like he hit it a bit more swifter. And plus Kenny Omega sold it. So.
Yeah, which
I'm like Jericho look like a smart heel, which is the end game. Like, he's the smartest heel on the roster. He's the most experienced, and he's still just as dangerous in the ring. We're talking about a guy that's like been at the top of his game for 20 years. So whoever does beat Jericho is going to look really good and really strong.
They might put Adam Page over.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're getting Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho at Fight for the Fallen in June. If I had to guess, I think Jericho's winning that match, but yeah, it's interesting. I love what AEW is doing right now.
And
then we get to after the match. Now, Chris Jericho cuts the promo, and he's saying, I would like to thank you. Now, of course, as every fan should have done in that arena, I thank Chris Jericho multiple times over. And he asked for thanks again, and I said, okay, Jericho, I hear you. Thank you. And after that, we saw Jon Moxley come out from the stands. Now, he didn't come from the back. He didn't come from where you should have come from. He came from the stands. Very much like his Shield entrance from WWE, which I thought was a pretty nice nod there. A nod, a middle finger, whichever you want to go with. He comes down to the ring, storms the ring. He lays out Chris Jericho, and it's just an all-around fucking badass fight. Now, of course, this is because it's fucking Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley, and it's his new debut. But just the swagger he carries when he comes down to that ring and he gets in there and he's just fucking strutting like, I don't give a shit. Like, this is what it is, you know? It's just so fucking cool. I don't want to say it's like a Stone Cold Steve Austin type of vibe, but something close to it. Like, he could be that rebellious, deviant character like a lot of people really want, that we didn't truly get in WWE at his peak. But here, I feel like we could definitely get it.
He wanted to be there too.
It just felt like a much bigger deal.
Yeah, you get this feeling that like he felt happy to be there. It's definitely a question onto what his alignment is going to be. I don't think AEW is going to do traditional faces and heels. I think you're kind of just going to flip people around depending on what they need. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Moxley coming out. We were all really happy. I thought everything was done well, from what he did to the ref to going to Jericho first.
Then
singling out Omega. Kind of goes like, we're all thinking, okay, he's going to attack Jericho. Jericho's the guy who won. He's the contender. He's the guy he should logically go after. No, he singles out Omega after doing all this stuff and then just proceeds to absolutely destroy him. I thought the dirty deeds onto the poker chips was really symbolic and really well done, and obviously like the toss out, AA, whatever you want to call it, afterwards was done really good as well. I do have a piece of information that a lot of our fans might not know yet. Dean Ambrose has been confirmed to have his first match, not at Fight for the Fallen, but at Fyter Fest, the co-event with CEO in Daytona Beach, this following month. So in June, towards the end of June, Jon Moxley will be having his first match. He has signed a full-time contract with AEW per AEW's press release statement.
Yes, that is huge news for them. Huge news for us, wrestling fans.
So for anybody that, is eager to see Moxley, wrestle again outside of, WWE, go check it out. It's Jon Moxley. I know there's a lot of... I
personally try to be there. I'm not too far from Daytona.
But yeah, guys, top to bottom, what did you guys think for their first show? Now, I didn't watch from TV, but in the arena, there were obviously some production issues going on. But like I said to a lot of the fans I came across, I'm like, listen, it's their first show, so they get a pass, and I'll let it slide. So, production errors aside, I thought it was a fucking great first show. This is the type of show you want to have to get new viewers to your product, and this was that show. I would show this to a non-wrestling fan, and that is something you would want to say. Would you show this to a non-wrestling fan? And I would show this to someone I want to get to watch AEW. A fan that might have slipped out of WWE or wrestling in general because it's just gotten so stale and boring. And like, oh, there's this new promotion that just came around, and here's what they have to offer. And I feel like I might be able to sell them on that. But what do you guys think?
Yes, like what you said. To me, because we had underwhelming opinions about it. We're like, oh, like it's gonna be, it's gonna be elite over, elite over, elite over. Granted, yeah, a lot of the elite members did go over, but it was in a way where you got over it. I'm like, all right, so what? They won. The show was good. The show was amazing. Like you said, would I show this to a fan? Like they're like, yo, bro, like I don't want to watch WWE. WWE is stupid. I'm like, all right, bro, check this out. This is a new product. Like, yeah, it's pro wrestling, but check it out, bro. Something completely new, something completely fresh. It'll make you think like, oh shit, this shit's cool again. To me, it wasn't an amazing show. It was a great show. I'm not gonna say it's amazing yet because I'm like, to me, I'm gonna say now I'm gonna stop saying it's a t-shirt company meme because this card itself, this show itself, solidified them as a wrestling company. And now they're a wrestling company. Now I'm looking forward to what they have to offer now while they're doing these pay-per-views. I'm gonna tell you straight up, once they have their first show in October on TNT, you better believe I'm gonna tune into that shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in as a fan. I'm gonna try and make some of the events in Florida. Hopefully they have more, especially towards like the more accessible part where I live. I really enjoyed this show. I thought it was really good. I don't know if I would put it in the great range. And I don't know if I'd show this to a new fan per se, someone I'm trying to convert, but I definitely show this to a fan that's been disgruntled, a fan that's kind of just done with the wrestling product right now as a whole. I think it would be a good way to get someone back into wrestling.
But
Dane, what do you got?
What do you think?
I think modern. It's up there as one of the better pay-per-views that I've seen, and it is without a doubt the best non-WWE pay-per-view. Like I've probably seen.
Some of the Wrestle Kingdoms.
I mean, I haven't seen like I mean like indies. And you don't count like New Japan as indies, right?
Yeah, I don't count New Japan.
No.
If we're going by indie pay-per-views, then yeah, this is definitely the best pay-per-view I've seen.
Yeah, because New Japan's the second biggest company, so why would?
But no, then it's your opinion. It's your opinion.
I mean, you could say AEW's not indies, but like they're using a lot of indie guys. Whatever.
They have a
technically they're not.
Product.
They're a national company now.
Technically, they're not going to be. Yeah.
They're a national company now. TNT is Turner.
Yeah, they're not independent. They're secondary American at this point.
Secondary American, okay.
Yeah, well, okay. American promotion wise, it's the best American promotion show outside of WWE.
Yeah. And I mean, Impact's had some good stuff, but